Om Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namah. Greetings to everyone, world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe. We extend a very warm welcome to each one of you. And it's a wonderful morning when you talk about Canada, United States, Latin America. And today we'll give you a wonderful surprise also because our CPA Surya Vijay Sastri Kotamarti ji is having a wonderful walk in the park of the talk. Just away from Canada. Mr. Vikas Malhotra is from Canada. He would also be joining. And we will have wonderful deliberations. Let's move on. Today is Kabir Das ji's Jayanti, and we send the greetings and our respects to this great soul of India. Now, ladies and gentlemen, ICSI getting closer with all our brothers and sisters across the globe, whether our Indian diaspora or the corporate houses. Welcome to Canada. I wish to share a couple of slides with all of you. In Canada, it's an Ocean Week. That's June 2nd to 11th. Find an event near you. What exactly is happening? You can go to oceanweek.ca and you can find something interesting what's happening over there. If I take you all the way to Winnipeg, then you can enjoy right over there. Today's 4th in India. It's going to be 4th tomorrow over there. So June 4th to 7th in the Winnipeg, you've got a road safety, creating impact through diversity. Place Making Canada Gathering, Toronto. That's June 11th and 12th. That's also wonderful, which we all enjoy in Canada. I was also going through something very interesting, Immigrant Services Calgary. And that's your citizenship test preparation. And somebody has given 3 online classes to cover Canada. Something is interesting, people. I think Kotamarti ji, I hope there are not too many animals near you. Then comes.
I'll be safe. I'll be safe till the end of the program. You don't have to worry. If I'm not there, think that something went wrong.
No. Because lots of animal noises are coming up. Okay. CEC 30, and that's the council session. When you talk about CEC in Canada, it's a Commission for Environmental Cooperation. That's also taking place in Victoria, 20th to 20th of June. So I'm going to discuss everything with you with regard to June. Then is the Toronto on 19th and 20th June. You have got Canadian Circular Economy Summit, which is taking place over there. And I also got an information from one of our friends, old friends, 1994 friend, who is doing extremely well in the jet immigrations over there. And he sent across something information I thought, why not to share with all of you. It's a family reunification made easy in Canada. Candidates will be able to apply for a spouse open work permit while outside Canada. Number 2, processing time will soon be cut short to less than 30 days for temporary resident visa applicants joining their sponsor in Canada. So this is Jet Set Go, Jet Immigration, and great regards and thanks to Mr. Monik Pal. I was just thinking that I missed this particular scenario, beautiful winters of Canada. People enjoyed thoroughly, maybe next time. And of course, the summer is setting in and all that is a beautiful June's weather. Here is something which very interesting comes from the tourism, hospitality, and aviation. I got this beautiful picture. I thought, why not? We should share with all our friends across the globe, those are joining this particular program. And that was something immigration is expected to increase Canada's population to 40 million in June 2023. So when we are talking about tourism, hospitality, and aviation, tomorrow is the World Environment Day. So along with the Regional Tourist Guides Association, we are doing a very big program tomorrow evening at the same time. That's a panel discussion, tourist guides for sustainable tourism. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together and visit Canada with Mr. The Kotamarti ji and Vikas Malhotra and all other colleagues. Those are joining us this program across the globe. This program is going live on at the rate ICSI India Live. We have changed the logo, that is at the rate ICSI India Live. When we work on to it, NRIs for tourism, education, and service industry. We are dealing in the services sector, and services sector is a very big canvas. And when you look at it, the entire world, the economy, into three parts: agriculture, manufacturing, and services. World is moving towards services. Let's look into and deep into services, what exactly it is, and of course, tourism, education, and other segments of services are very important. With these words, join me in extending a very warm welcome to each one of us, and very especially CPS Surya Vijay Sastri Kotamarti ji and Mr. Vikas Malhotra, and of course, in a little while, Mr. Vivek Shankar Natarajan, professor from Lamar University. He would also be joining us for a little while because he's on 2 months visit to India. And I requested him, why not every Sunday he should also be part of our deliberations. With these words, I welcome everybody and let's take on today's vision. Today's also talk about uh, we are enjoying national park, wildlife sanctuary, tiger reserve, and beautiful voices of lots of animals. You are enjoying nature early in the morning for your morning jog, morning walk, and that is CPS Surya Vijay Shastri Kotamarti ji. Where are you? Let's explain. Let people enjoy. Might be some of them they will get tempted to visit your place. Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks for that wonderful explanation, Dr. Sharmaji. First of all, I'm not in Africa. I lived in Africa for 10 years, and there used to be Masai Mara, one of the world's biggest. There are no tigers, lions, and elephants here in the park where I am. I just thought that I will enjoy the weather and sit in the park, but looks like it is causing disturbance. I am sorry to the viewers who are having the disturbance in the voice, but hopefully you are able to listen to me. And today I'll be specifically talking about caregivers, and I hope I understand that the viewers want specifics. So I have spoken in the past about being very specific, and today I'll be talking about caregivers in specific, especially what Dr. Sharma and we all were discussing at the beginning of the program. That, as you all know, I had mentioned in the earlier webinars that IELTS or English test is one of the requirements for most of the vocational semi-skilled workers coming over to Canada. But this particular sector, caregiver sector, I understand. I just say the word I understand because I've come to know through it, and will confirm that IELTS requirement, the English requirement is not a requirement for caregivers, which is an excellent thing to know about because that way whoever listening or seeing the program at a later date will be how you can come over as a caregiver if you are already qualified and having the required skills in that specific area. So let me once again reiterate what I had mentioned about the vocational programs and the skilled and semi-skilled workers who want to migrate to Canada. The requirements were that they should have minimum of 2 years post qualification experience, in addition to having being certified by their respective organizations in India. So if you are a nurse or you are a caregiver or anyone who is working in India as a caregiver or a nurse, you have to be certified by that specific organization, and you should have the required certification first thing in order for you to be able to apply for immigrating to Canada. The second requirement is that you should have a minimum of 2 years experience in the field that you are looking for. So, because we are specifically talking about nurses and caregivers, and when I say talk about Canada, I also talk about a couple of other countries which take my assistance, and to whom I let them know about how they can migrate. And one of them is Ireland, and the other one is
We lost the signal in the park. Walk the talk, talk has gone, walk is there. So maybe he will come back in a little while. Meanwhile, let me extend a very warm welcome to Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajanji, and welcome to India. It's indeed a great, great pleasure and something amazing. You're also joining us. And I would request you, when you are in India, why not every Sunday you spare a little time for 15-20 minutes, and we have a reunion of India, America, Canada, every.
so especially the year about the designations and
Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajanji, hearty welcome. Pleasure to have you.
Namaste, sir. Good to see all of you, my fellow panelists from Canada. I was actually, feeling a little warm, hot weather in summer. So when I think of Canada, I'm now a little more cold and I feel very balanced.
Great, wonderful. Vikasji, let's go ahead. Let's hear your views, because Vivek Shankarji, we have given the warm welcome, and we will have him at the end just to summarize and synthesize and give it the package. Vikasji.
Thank you, everybody, for having me once again. I'm so happy to see all the three V's on this platform back again. Vivekji, I hope you have a great trip in India. Today's topic is very meaningful, and it talks about the NRIs to educate in the service industry. So first, I would like to say, my opinion to educate is not to just go to a college or a school and attend a class and then learn. We all educate ourselves or each other at every step, every walk of life. Education is basically to make an awareness, if in a very, very raw word. So let's just take non-resident Indian, NRI, also has another meaning. From this time onwards, we can also call us new resource included, also NRI. I would say just do not depend on one NRI or two NRIs or three. Anybody who knows anyone, the other part of the world, should always try to educate themselves and not wait for others to inform them. Take any NRI, whether they are residing in Singapore, whether they are residing in USA, or even Africa, any part of the world. If you have a vested interest in you, must go forward with the info that he or she would like to obtain. Having said that, we also got to understand that you got to have that within yourself, that we got to learn more, we got to educate ourselves more. We can guide you, we are here to assist, and that's what's going to continue to happen. But we must also talk about that any questions. Of course, if anybody wants to go any part of the world, has hundreds of questions, residing in their mind, and they want to clarify. So you must ask questions. Participation is very, very important, especially in the service industry. It is not a theory of book that you pick up a series of encyclopedias and read. It is nothing like that. It's very interesting field. The service industry is what every human being on this planet is somewhat associated with, whether it's on a lower scale or it's on a larger scale or whatever form it is. And there is a huge scope in talking about the North American part. There is a lot of scope over here to come for the jobs, for the avenues, for a better life to be lived in North America. We just talked about uh, the cold. We just talked about the weather, the park. All of those things are just the catalysts for you to have an environment around you, weather-wise. But we also got to have a catalyst around us, which is called as awareness, knowledge. Those play a very crucial part. So we got to have this thing, as I said in the past as well. We got to draw a plan. We got to draw that these are the things that we need to do by X amount of days or X amount of months, and then we can go forward to move on. But I must let you know that there are lots of new avenues for the youth. There are lots of new avenues for the students over here to come. There are lots of new avenues for those who are even in their late 20s as well. It doesn't mean if you're not a student, you don't want to go. There are lots of avenues residing in North America. And I allow me to be a little bit biased towards India. They love Indians. North Americans love Indians because we don't escape from work, and we can work to whatever extent we are asked for. And that's a very respectful thing that we see over here around us. I'm speaking in 95%. I mean, there's always a handful of those who don't want to work too, but majority wise that there is it. So I would request our dear audiences that you must have that drive within you, and you must draw out a plan that by the end of August I should have known all these things, so that I'm aiming to go next year or end of the year. I'm aiming to do that. So this is basically what I wanted to summarize in on a larger scale, but for sure we'll be happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you. Thank you. We lost the signal of Kotamarti ji earlier. He has rejoined us. Let's go ahead, Kotamarti ji.
Yeah, sorry for that. I don't know what happened, but I was at the point where I was saying that in addition to having the certification, you also need a minimum qualification of 2 years. So going further to that, there is an additional requirement for most of the vocational semi-skilled and skilled worker category, where it is they passing the English test exam. So there are various organizations which offer that certification in order for you to pass the exam, and there are grades that are given, and each skill has its own grade. Like they have skill testing in speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So these are the 4 different levels in which each one category they have to have a certain number of the grade that they have to get in order, whether it is an IELTS or any other, depending on the country that you are applying for, they have. But IELTS is a common exam that is offered most of the countries worldwide. So in India also IELTS is very famous. You can there are many organizations that allow you to appear for the IELTS program. They teach you, they prepare you, and they eventually also allow you to go for the IELTS exam. So the reason I'm specifically talking about this is that for the caregivers, as we were discussing at the beginning of the webinar, I understand that we don't require that IELTS. So definitely it is a very big thing. And those caregivers and nurses and others who are intending to come to Canada should jump to the sky and say, wow, that is very good, because there are many people who are very good at what they do, and if they are good nurses, they are good caregivers, they have the required experience, but unfortunately they may or may not be able to speak everything the way speak, read, write the way it is required. I would always strongly suggest that this requirement is only for you to migrate or immigrate to Canada, but it is not just, it doesn't stop you from learning, because even though you will be able to come to the country under the caregivers category or the nurses category, I would strongly recommend that you still prepare yourself for reading, writing, and speaking in English. So that is the information we are providing is for you to apply. We are very happy about it, and we are more than happy to see at ICSI how we can be of help to you, to see if you are a caregiver or a nurse who would like to come over to Canada. Please contact our offices, and we should be more than happy to do. So that was what I wanted to say, Vikas and Sharma ji, and like Vikas ji has said, we should have more interactive program where we would like to hear what questions people have, because we are here to see if there is anything that we can answer. If not immediately, at least we will be able to come back then the next.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, world over, the people, those are watching this particular program, we wish to clarify and we wish to share with you, ICSI is basically a chamber. It's an international chamber for service industry. Like, the different chambers, different confederations, different associations, different platforms, they try to provide the right information, updated information, desirable information, whatever they can provide by means of various channels, which we have got. And one of the channel what we are dealing over here is every Sunday we wish to bring the non-resident Indians, and we wish to share with you what all is going on world over in the different countries on different areas of services sector. And like we have taken the education, skills, tourism, hospitality, airlines, media entertainment, where you have got radio, television, theater, music, films. Similar way, when we talk about the health and wellness sector, people going for different areas wherever they are. One of the area in that is the caregivers. Okay, nurses, when you're doing degree or a diploma, your criteria and all what we are providing and giving in India, through various colleges, institutions, and all that. My humble request to you and each one of you would be, platform is to give you awareness and try and give you whatever best information we can give, but at the same time, do take a time to go through the government portals, government websites, government arenas, what all they are announcing, because where there is a will, there is a way. If anybody who is keen to travel abroad, I know a lot of people, those have gone world over, they have traveled world over, they have moved up in the ladder. A lot of people have gone to New Zealand. From there, they use the springboard and they've gone to Canada. A lot of people have gone to other countries and they have reached United States. So for that matter, it's your choice, it's your expertise, it's your arena. Whatever you are keen about, our chamber is just to share information with you. Neither we are in any immigrations, nor we are here to promote any particular organization or institution or any setup or any sanstha. Our aim is to give you the best possible information, whatever we can provide. And every week and every day for that matter, our efforts are, tomorrow is the World Environment Day. We are trying to get, because in the 40 years, I learned one very interesting thing. Very interesting thing. You may have an excellent policy, you may have a planning, you may have a marketing, you may have a strategy, you may have everything being done so wonderful. In tourism, ultimately, the person who spends maximum time with the visiting tourist, who can get you the repeat tourist, who can get you satisfied tourist, who can send back from the country a satisfied person, that's your tourist guide. And when I interacted with them in one of the panel discussions, I was amazed. I was amazed. Some of them, they gave the competition examination for IAS. They sat for various, I was at the top competitive exams, and most of them, they are specialists in their own fields, whatever area they have taken. At present, we have got Mr. Vivek Shankar Natarajanji also from the Lamar University from Texas over here in India. I would request him to share the vision. He has tried to get into the new arena where he's getting the digital inspirational lab, and he's just seeping into and trying to see from there what exactly used to be the finishing school before the pandemic of the chamber and what is post pandemic right over here. That's your digital inspirational lab, where the first and the foremost is curiosity, creativity, collaboration, innovation, technology, everything we are trying to share with everyone. Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajanji. Few views from your side.
Namaste, Gulshan ji. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you, we can see you, and welcome to India. Welcome to India.
Thank you, Vande Mataram, Jai Hind. This is good to see my good friends from Canada too. As I said, this is a very hot season, and I see two Canadians. Suddenly my temperature's cooled down because especially I'm seeing Kotamarti ji in the park, and that's good. And Gulshan ji, always a warm welcome for me. So we are going to be meeting very soon. So we have a lot of plans. So first of all, I was reflecting on what Vikas ji said and Vijay ji said. I totally agree, because if you want to come abroad, see, it is like a ship. A ship is very safe in the harbor, but that's not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be traveling. We are all meant in a way to have a voyage, whether internal or external. And I think at least in this room, we have three of us who have been having good voyages in terms of immigration. And then Gulshan ji, your passport, I think, has 150 country stamps. So you're also a world traveler. So we would all agree, I think, if there are two things that was brought up very, very eloquently. One is that desire to come out and travel and move up in the ladder. That is, I think, the intent. The motivation is very, very important. The other thing is this. Along with motivation, competence was mentioned, and I break down into two levels of competence. One is the technical competence, whether you have a IT skill or whether you're into caregiving, whether you're into physiotherapy or accounting. I mean, everything you need to have a certain level of certification. Certification tells you that you have the minimum expected qualifications, and then beyond that, do you have some kind of an extra, mention like a merit reward, or have you been a gold medalist? All these things matter, because at the end of the day, when you're going through immigration, it is, you have to generate, you have to prove that you are worthy. It is not that you're available and people will take you. So that is important, but that is an enabling factor. The second factor is also the communication factor. So whether it is English, and because when you're talking of all these countries, New Zealand or even Australia, even UK to some extent, US, Canada, all of these are needing people. And but what is the language? The language is English, and maybe a knowledge of a second language like Spanish would be very useful. Why do I say that? In the US, at least, the Hispanic population is very much growing. So these language skills are important. And then the other thing is soft skills. Something that there is no language to it, but the body language, understanding what people say, what do they really mean? Because some cultures, they don't say no directly, they say it indirectly. So all these things, and we have done many programs on that. So somebody wants to go abroad, it's not you flip a switch and decide to go. You have to build that package. Your package, in terms of, you have a sharp intent. Once you have that intent, when to go, where to go, then the skill set, get them certified. So sometimes, it might be the exams you need to have. So GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, what are the exams? And then the language skills, these four. But all of these will help you get to where you want. But will you help you to stay where you want? That is different. That I think you have to have a lot of temperament. Because I'll tell you, Gulshan ji, on the 27th of May, I was in Spain. 28th, I was traveling. I was in 2 airports in Spain. Then I landed in 1 airport in America. So 3 airports. Then 30th, I left from another airport. Then my flight was missed in Frankfurt. So I had to come through Dubai. So within span of 4 days, I've seen 7 or 8 airports. And every airport is very different. Every culture is very different. And the only reason I was able to manage is you have to keep calm and you have to trust the process. You should. So that's a small example. But like this, when you live in a country abroad, everything is new. Do you have the adventure spirit in you to be calm? Aisa nahi ki every day you will get dal sabji. Maybe you will, but you cannot become miserable. The homesickness and all should not happen. You should be cognizant of that bigger aim. कि हमको कुछ करने के लिए जाना है और गए हैं. So you should have that. And that is what you will see in many NRIs who have succeeded, whether it is Vikas ji or Vijay ji. I'm sure they have put in a lot of hard work, but somewhere there was also a time where they must have thought, hey, what did I do a mistake coming abroad? I'm sure Vikas ji, you will agree with me on that. And this, even today, we have that dilemma. Did we do that? And there is no solution to a dilemma except that you have your own conviction. And so you have to play the long game. That's why they say cricket test match is like a gentleman's game. It's a test of temperament. Going abroad is not a one-day match. It's not a T20. It is a test match. We play it like that, So it's easy. Everything you get it like a T20. But when you go there, you have to become a test match player. Of course, you should be running, getting the runs and all that. I'm not saying no. But can you stand and keep guard at your wicket and stay for a long time and become successful? Because without that, what happens is I've seen many people had homesick and come back. And that's, maybe some people, we can't help it. There may be family issues. But when you decide to go abroad, you better have a long-term perspective. Because there are avenues, and if you are good, you will definitely get a good opportunity. I'm not worried about that. The question is, do you have the staying power? That is the bigger issue. And that's what I wanted to raise, Gusaji. And obviously, we can talk more. But today, I think it's 8:32 already. So I'd like to let at least, my other 2 friends have they have long Sundays ahead of them. So Vijay ji and Vikas ji. So let them enjoy. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hearty welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this session is for half an hour. We'll have the concluding remarks for both the guests from Canada. And the best part is it's a V3 team. That's a Vivek, Vikas, and Vijay. Wow, that's great. I mean, say
Sir,
all 3 are.
इसको बोलते हैं V cube. V3 मत बोलिए, V cube बोलिए. V into V is V cube.
V cube. Okay. Kotamarti ji.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shamal. My concluding remarks would be that, as I have said, the requirements will always be there, but you should always try and have more than what is required. And in order to do that, you have to be aware of what is required. So have the awareness of what is required. Try and increase your awareness of what is required and achieve that and something more. So even if the skill of knowing English, speaking English may not be required for immigration purposes, but stretch yourself to learn English, like Vivek was also saying, and because he was also saying, English is a language that is required for any of the countries that you would like to go, because most of the countries in world that people try to go are the Commonwealth countries, and English is definitely the most prevalent spoken language. So my concluding remark is, please do concentrate on English. You are anyway specialists in your own experience as well as your English.
Vikas ji.
I really like the word specialist. So somebody said to me, there's a human being I follow in my life, and he said, whatever you do in life, do to become number one, do to the best. So become a specialist. Concluding, I also wanted to say one very important thing. Never brood over lost ground. Jo ho gaya, move on. You should look for the positive side. I hear all the time when I talk to my friends back home in India, I says, 40 years ago, this happened, 10 years ago, this happened, that. That's done. move on, see a brighter life, see the positive side, and get on the track, get on your path, get on there right now. Tomorrow never comes, get on it now. So be inspired, be hungry for success, be hungry to get where you want to be, any part of the world, or even within India itself as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something very interesting before we close today's session. When we say English language, let me go one step. Communication. Communication is to connecting. And our Professor Vivek Shankar used word body language. One is the communication, that's the language, a different kind of a language. And then is the body language. He made use of that word also. Something very interesting I would like to tell to all the youngsters, teachers, educators, whosoever is joining this particular program. First of all, remove all your inhibitions. The thing is, you got to understand when French people speak English, what is their dialect? When Spanish people speak, what is their dialect? And the people, those speak English all the time, even their dialect is also different. See UK people, see American, see Canadian, see Australian, see New Zealanders, and for that matter, where English is spoken, including Ireland, you'll find their dialect differently. So first of all, remove all your inhibitions that English is a difficult language and all. One more secret I wish to share with all of you. You know, sometimes I wonder, there used to be an 11th class earlier. Then we made it 12th class. Why have we made 12th class? There used to be a graduation of 3 years. Why have we made it for 4 years? You want to delay the process for next 1 year to give employment and to generate employment. And all those factors are being taken into consideration. English is not something which is difficult. I do not know grammar. I've never learned grammar. I don't follow grammar. I feel all the time the language should come from within. And once you will start speaking, listen to English music, listen to news, watch television, watch English movies, bring that confidence into you. That's what I would like to tell each one of you. Sometime I will give you the complete statistics, how much money is being spent world over, and particularly in India, to learn English language and to qualify so-called IELTS exam. I'll try and bring the statistics next week. If not next week, next to next week. And it will be mind-blowing and you would realize what exactly is this game. So thereby, ladies and gentlemen, each one of you, irrespective, you're in urban, you are in rural, you are in far-flung, you are in village, you're in border area, wherever you are, first is build your confidence. Just try and build your confidence. And when you'll be confident, you can do anything on this planet. Nothing is difficult. Everything is possible. All of us, we have to work in that particular direction. With these words, thank you very much for joining us today. Look forward to meeting you. And I would request Kotamarti ji also, Vikas Malhotra ji also, Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajan also, please bring some more people. Please bring different experts. Try and get more and more people on board. The more we bring people over here, the more we share the knowledge and the wisdom and the confluence of information, I think the world is going to be benefited. And ultimately, to give soothing to everybody, tourism is the passport to peace. That is the way we got to look at it, and we got to be happy with it. Thank you very much for joining us today. My deep gratitude to all three of you. Look forward meeting you again next week, next Sunday, and let the galaxy increase from 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 9 to 11. And that is the way. Up to 11, the team should be taken. That's what we are trying to work in the direction. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Green morning.